Hey,
Hey,
Matt.
Matt.
John.
How
How's
you
it
doing?
going?
Good. Yeah. Is my sound good?
Yeah, you sound
Okay.
amazing. You
Cool. I'm
sound like
excited to be
Christmas
on.
cheer.
And while
Just
you're
excited.
here, when you sound so wonderful, how about you tell us what your favorite candy is, and also chat. Let us know what your favorite candy is, and if it's raisins, that's cool because that's probably one of mine. I have zero sweet tooth.
My favorite candy, maybe like those sour belts, but what flavor? Like the blue and yellow ones?
Interesting.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you're an
That's an
OG if you get the,
interesting choice.
Well,
you're
no,
an
I like
OG.
soury. Yeah, I don't really like chocolatey
Okay.
candy.
Mm,
I like the
Well,
okay.
belts.
bonus
Uh,
points for referring to them by the color instead of the flavor name because everybody knows the
Yes,
rules. You're untrustworthy if you actually give it the government flavor name.
exactly. It's only
So
the blue ones and the yellow ones. Um, anyways, aside from candy, what else do you like to talk about, Matt? Maybe could you give us a just quick hello about what you work on day to day and who you are
yeah.
and why you're joining us?
yeah,
Yeah,
please.
sure. So I'm one of the product managers on the AWS Amplify team. So I've been focused on Amplify hosting. I've been working at AWS for quite a while. Actually, I've been on the Amplify team for about 5 years. So I focused on like the front end framework side of things, and then spent the last year more focused on the Amplify hosting offering. So yeah, I'm super excited to talk about like one of our new features that we just launched.
That is a mouthful, but
Yeah.
the other thing that you didn't say,
It
the
is.
other thing you didn't say that you kind of
What?
left
It
out, you're
is.
kind of selling yourself short. You used to be a DA, and I remember you from back in the day and working
Oh,
with that.
Yes.
yes, I used to work at Twitch. I worked at Twitch for a few years on the developer platform. So yeah, it's been a while since I've been on Twitch. We used to have a monthly developer show, a bit similar to this.
Awesome, awesome. So, what
Yeah.
do you got to talk to us about? Because I heard a little bit of a rumbling that you may have cooked up something in a lab a little bit to help kind of really scratch that itch of the average developer.
Yeah. So maybe I could just start and first maybe just give a bit of a background on Amplify hosting, just in case
Please.
folks
Great.
haven't used it. Yeah. I don't know if either of you have used Amplify, by the way. Um,
In a
okay.
minute,
Sounds
but
like
yeah.
you have. Yeah. So Amplify is an AWS service that is targeted at front end developers. So if you're a front end developer and you have a web app and you want to host the web app, you can use Amplify hosting. So it makes it really easy for developers to just like connect their GitHub repo or their GitLab repo, and you can have your site deployed in a few seconds. So if you have like a React app or a Next.js app, it's super easy to deploy. And also, the other sort of part of Amplify, I should say, is also sort of this backend libraries where you can kind of plug in and do things like authentication and data and functions, and just making it really easy for developers to sort of build applications and not have to think too much about the underlying AWS services. So Amplify Auth kind of makes it easy to have your users kind of log in without worrying about like Cognito, if that makes sense.
Yeah. That makes sense. I mean, it's kind of a choose your own adventure when you're having to do that, especially if you take somebody like fish out of water, for them to have to kind of Frankenstein their solution together, especially if you're a dev, you've never had to manage infrastructure. Like, what's DNS? How do I make auth work? Why aren't my passwords working? What's a role? It
Yep.
gets very difficult, and that's one of the kind of unsung things I've always liked about Amplify. And I think you did a really good way of summing it up, and with that proverbial elevator pitch.
Yeah. um, I'm curious if anyone in the chat has used Amplify hosting or Amplify, just to kind of hear who's familiar.
Let
But
us know.
yeah,
Yeah,
if you
please.
have not tried it, it is definitely worth uh, taking a peek.
Bonus
Absolutely.
points. Bonus points if you drop the domain name for your Amplify project, and we will be
Yeah.
checking. We will be checking how it
Yeah.
works. And first person that let's make it interesting. First person that could drop their domain, we verify is on Amplify. We may reach out. We may have a little something for you if you come meet
Ooh.
us at reInvent. How's that sound? Cool, chat. Please chime in and let us know.
Yeah.
We do live stream from reInvent, so you never know what might come upon you if you put it in the chat now. Let us know. I think so. I heard that what you've released now is going to help people like me who don't usually host many websites anymore, but maybe want to. And I think it's going to be the newest, easiest way to do this.
Yes.
So let's talk about it.
Yeah, that's a good segue. So I was sort of talking about Amplify makes it really easy to host your app. So a big part of app hosting is static websites. So these are websites that are just HTML, JavaScript, CSS. And funnily, I actually had a site that was like my personal site, and I had all the files in an S3 bucket. And S3 has this feature called website hosting. And this was like 5 or 6 years ago. And I just needed something super simple to deploy my static site. I didn't want to think about servers or anything like that. So I tried the S3 feature, and it makes it easy, but there definitely are a few steps. So you have to like add CloudFront. I remember having to name the S3 bucket as like the domain name, which was like funny. I always wondered, like, what if the S3 bucket name was taken? Like, then what would you do? So
that might have happened during my awesome builder, but I'm sorry for interrupting, but please continue.
Yeah, no, yeah. So basically, what else did you have to do? You had to set up your bucket policies, and then connecting a domain was a bit involved as well. So with Amplify Hosting, we have now made it really easy to deploy any app that is in S3, or if you have any static files in S3 and you want to deploy them, it's super simple to use Amplify Hosting now. So we built this integration with S3 that's really a few clicks, and then your site's deployed. So I definitely want to do a demo of that, but yeah.
That sounds amazing. In the chat, let us know if this also sounds exciting to you. And live on AWS OnAir, let's get a demo going.
Yeah, please. I mean, did we leave the proverbial drop of blood on the doorstep to keep the vampires away, to keep the demo gods at bay, or
yeah,
the demo vampires?
Hey, anybody that's ever been to a demo, we know there's a pound of flesh or an ounce of blood that's gotta be, you gotta satiate it. Trust me.
Or a bowl of candy.
So okay,
vampires you're working with.
Fine.
I have my screen ready if we want to switch over.
Yeah, let's do
it.
Yeah, so it looks like I'm live. So just to start off, I'm in the Amplify console. So if you haven't used Amplify before, you basically search. I just have a bookmark here, AWS Amplify. But if you have no apps, you essentially see this page. And if you click this button, this is sort of the entryway. So you can connect your app with GitHub, Bitbucket, Code Commit, GitLab, and then
awesome.
You could
Matt, could you do me a favor and just zoom in one more time? My eyes are trying their best.
Okay. Yes, is this better?
Perfect. Thank you. Yes.
Cool. So then we have a few other methods. So you can, for example, use S3. So this is one of the options. And then also, if you don't want to use S3 and you just have your files on your computer, you could just upload a zip file. Or if you have them hosted on some other file service, you could just provide a URL. But for this demo, I actually want to start from S3 because that's really the beauty of this integration.
Okay.
And how simple it is. So I have quite a few AWS buckets here, or sorry, S3 buckets, I should say.
Yes.
And then
there's quite a few to say the least.
Yeah. And then I called it Amplify. Okay, that's not gonna work. Merch. Okay, this merch store. So I put together a really simple website. So it's literally an index.html file, and then we have a CSS file here, and then some images. So essentially what you would do is if you want to host the site, so it just lives in S3 today, I just created the bucket. I don't have any sort of fancy configuration here. And then if you click properties, in the past, you would scroll to the bottom and there would be the S3 static hosting. But now we've added this banner. So it basically says the new recommended approach is to use AWS Amplify. And all you need to do is basically click this button and it should bring me into Amplify now. So it's done that.
Super sleek.
Yeah, so super fast. It brings you into Amplify, and then I can give it an app name. So this is merch store for AWS OnAir. You can give it a branch name if you'd like, and then it already pre-fills with the location, but if you wanted to sort of use the file browser, you could. And then you click save and deploy, and then that is literally it. The entire site is going to deploy in hopefully a second or two, and then yeah. Of course, it's taking longer. There we go.
It's okay.
That had me nervous for a second.
You kept the demo gods. You did it.
Yeah. But yeah, it's deployed. So let's see. And yeah, here's the site I created. So this index file just was an S3 a few seconds ago, and now it's behind a CDN. It's available globally. So this is behind CloudFront. So users who are hitting this, so it scales all of that, and yeah, that took like 10 seconds. It was so fast. Yeah,
Matt, could you remind our group what in the chat what CloudFront is?
Yes. So CloudFront is basically Amazon's CDN offering, which stands for Content Delivery Network. And essentially, I feel like this is the famous like interview question for a software engineer. So I'm getting a little nervous here, but basically there's sort of server locations across the US, and these servers basically cache files. So this index file, if a user is in like Montana, visits the site, there may be what they call, I think, an edge location, which is like a server. And if someone requests it there, the file will basically go from the origin to the CDN there, and then other users nearby will get it from that location. So basically helps with performance.
You passed the test, Matt. That was really quite eloquent for her.
Did I get the job?
Yeah, but now you get to talk about CloudFront all day, which isn't necessarily a bad thing, but it might kind of detract us from what we're kind of about to say.
But no, it is a good question, because it is a benefit you get with Amplify. We manage, so it's a managed service. You don't have to think about CloudFront. I'd say.
As somebody that had to set up numerous CloudFront distros that had to manage point of origin, refresh rate, changing, peak type of traffic. Think of like a Super Bowl type of can't fail event. Yeah, that is a bear, and that's like a 24-hour war room. Everybody's seen the Always Sunny meme with Pepe Silva, with everybody kind of strung out, pointing at the chart. That's exactly what it's like to roll your own distro, and anybody that's had to live that can 100% attest to that. You kind of end up wrapped up like a mummy. You can't really, you're so bound to it, you can't really walk away from it. It's nuts.
Yeah.
But sorry.
Yes, this is a lot simpler than all that. I hope.
Yes, I think so. So what else do we have here?
But cool. So I wanted to cover a few other use cases. So I think a common thing for building your own website is to have a custom domain. So that's one thing I want to make sure that we have time to do. And then the second thing is you may want to actually update content. So what does it look like to update content? What is that workflow? So maybe I'll start with updating content. So I have the website. Whoops. Okay, I have the website in VS Code here. So as I said, the site is fairly straightforward. It's really just an index.html file. So I don't know. Does anyone have a suggestion for what we want to change? Let me pull it up. Well, I should say within reason.
Within reason.
Why isn't the... Oh, I think...
Can we add Adrian as a product?
Yes, please.
Yes. Yeah, we could try to do that. So normally...
I'm going to say I got more hardware in me than a hardware store, man. So it's a valid development.
Let's make a new product for Adrian.
Okay.
Well, we'll say a hat. How about?
Adrian hat.
Yeah. So Adrian fan.
Yeah.
Or
the fan would involve like my daughters, maybe my mom, but that's it.
Yeah. Yeah, that's okay.
The hat should be $25.
Well, let's wait a minute.
Perfect to show your love for Adrian.
Amazing.
Okay. So if I save this now, we could check it locally, but why don't we just deploy it and see what it looks like? So,
all right.
The first thing, so there's like several like ways you could basically like build a workflow for this, but essentially like what we need to do is update the file in S3, and then we need to tell Amplify that you want to start a deployment. So there's all sort of like workflows people could build that, you could use Lambda, like you could ping a Lambda function and it could sync S3 and then it could call Amplify. But for this example, I'm going to just do it in my CLI locally. So I have the AWS CLI. So I essentially want to start with, I'll just copy and paste the S3 sync command. So I think I'm in my local directory here. Yep. So sort of the command looks something like this. So you want to tell the command where the files are locally. So if I just have a period here, that should be this directory. And then the second variable or parameter, I guess, is the bucket name, which let me I'm gonna get lost. I'm gonna get lost in all these windows.
You're doing great.
Live.
Okay.
Exactly.
Yes. So the bucket name is right here. So let me just copy and paste this and then paste it here. Okay. So if I click save, this should update the file. So it said it uploaded the index file. So it detected that there was a change. So basically like looks at the timestamps, because if I had several files, the sync command just updates whatever you've changed. So if you want, we can verify first in S3 that the file has actually changed. So it's always hard with UTC time, but is that?
That's right.
Yeah. Is that right? Okay.
It's 2057 and now it's 21.
Yes.
So
that's impressive. Okay. So yeah, so that's updated. So you could go to the Amplify console now and click on the app and click deploy updates, but that wouldn't be very fun. So it'd be more fun to use CLI commands. So with Amplify, we have a few commands. So for this specific like manual deployment, we want to run a start deployment command. So I'll just copy and paste that here. And basically says start deployment, you give it the app ID, you give it the branch name, and then you give it the S3 source. So this is something you could like alias or hard code if you had a deployment script or something like that. But just for this example, I should be able to click enter. And then that's just telling Amplify, hey, we should start a new deployment and pull the files from this S3 bucket. So it now should be done. It shows pending because that's essentially just the first status. But if I refresh this page, let's see if it deployed. Oh, you know what? I have the wrong app ID. That's why. Okay.
See how you are.
So yeah, there we go. So that was another app I was using to test this. Because I was gonna say that should have updated.
No, that's perfect. This is really
true
debugging.
debugging. Yes.
We are here.
You know, want to call out the note from Cooley D, set up the site, deployed, and it's going. That's awesome. Like through the course.
Someone's doing it live?
They're doing it live.
Yes.
Okay.
Doing it live with you.
Cool.
Yep. Customer that.
Awesome. Yep. So it says last deployment 0 minutes ago. Nice. So that should be live. So now if we refresh the page, whoops. There we go. We have
looks like it's right.
Adrian fan hat.
You can now purchase a fake Adrian fan hat.
Yes. There are no real hats here. Do you have a fan hat?
No. If there were, there would be twos of orders, maybe a third. I don't know. It depends on whether I'm still watching or not.
Sounds like we need to get you a fan hat.
You need a hat.
No. Stick on beard, maybe, but no, not a fan hat.
Oh, that's tough. Our producer's being a little rude to you today, but it's okay.
Way to be a Grinch, Nick. Thank you. Appreciate it.
Should we
nobody wants to do things for you.
Should we pause for a second to see if there's questions, or should we look at...
Yeah, actually, we do have one question that I wanted to ask. So you're pulling up all these CLI commands. Where's the best place to find all of these CLI commands that you're copying and pasting?
That is a good question. So we had this blog post go out. So this feature launched 2 or 3 days ago. And there's a section here about, So we also do have the AWS docs, which I can find in a second. But I would say the blog post kind of walks through an example. So it has that command that I have here.
Fantastic. We'll drop that link in the chat for you all.
Yeah, that's a good one.
You have the new blog that just got posted, and then we can also drop a link for the general documentation.
And then this docs guide would probably be pretty good.
Okay, yeah, we'll definitely get that thrown in.
Thank you. We have a few minutes left, so I wanted to see how we change the domain before we lose you.
Yes. I don't know. How much time do we have? Just so...
About 3 minutes.
Yeah,
okay. Let's see if I could add the domain that fast. So essentially in Amplify, a lot of things are managed for you. So we can add a custom domain. And also, for example, you get like monitoring built in. So this integrates with CloudWatch. So you kind of get some of these metrics out of the box. But for a custom domain, I think that's a pretty big use case for a static site. So I have a few domains that I added to Route 53. So I actually just bought this domain, and it was only $2, which is funny,
Nice.
a .store domain. So I haven't tried this in a while. So let's see. So you hit configure, and then it's basically asking you how you want to map your domains. So I'm going to say like the Apex domain is going to be routed to staging, but you could have another branch called production or however you want to do it. And also subdomains you can map to other branches, which is cool. And
Nice.
then, and then the SSL certificates are completely managed, or you can bring your own with ACM, Amazon Certificate Manager. So if I click add domain now, it should, in theory, do everything for you. I should have started this maybe when we were editing content, but
That's okay.
let's see.
It's
Yeah.
all
So
good.
under the hood, it's issuing the certificate and it's adding records to Route 53 for me.
If anybody's ever managed DNS, that's a
Yeah,
bear, and you wouldn't wish that on your own enemy. Like worse.
Yeah, it can get crazy. Let's maybe give it like 30 seconds though, because I'm curious if it works. And we can see if there's any questions.
I think the only question is that you're in absolute beast mode right now.
I know.
Nice
I'm
job.
a little worried because this is okay. So, I thought it added this to Route 53 for you. I'm just curious if anything is here.
All right.
Otherwise, we can try
Worth
that.
a look. It's okay.
Yeah. Okay. No.
Give it an
So
extra minute or two.
yeah, this will take a second. So let's go to Route 53. Let's see if the records are added, actually.
Yeah, if it'll just
So-
pop up, that would be pretty cool.
Mhm.
Yeah, so it looks like it put some records in here, actually. So
Damn.
add D3OI. Let's see.
I see it.
Yeah, I see it. So I
yeah.
think it does add it for you. Yeah, I think it just takes a few.
Just might take a minute.
Yeah, I don't know why.
That's totally valid.
Yeah, this is slick, I gotta say, Matt. I mean,
Yeah,
This
you
is
may
awesome.
mention the Cloudfront famous interview question. Mine is usually on DNS, and yeah, this being able to absolve yourself of just I need to get something going quickly, and I don't have to think about the info or the DNS. This is huge. The amount of time and quality of life.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, this is insane, man.
All right.
Yeah.
While we have about one more minute, I believe 3 minutes. Our producers are extending you because you're so
Ooh,
great.
3 minutes. Okay.
One of the questions I think that's interesting is how do you recommend handling versioning and backwards compatibility?
Like versioning your apps or.
Yeah, so it sounds like when you want to update something, you update the S3 file and then you can just push it through Amplify. Is there like an undo button, or would you just undo your changes in the S3 file and then push that again? What's the process look like?
Yeah, so that's a good question. So what I would do is I would use multiple branches. So I would probably have like a staging branch like I have, and then I would probably have like a production branch. And if you're using some sort of source control, you could merge your changes to the staging branch and it will it won't auto deploy, but if you deploy your changes in staging, you can basically get different hosted URLs per branch. And then you can basically like look at your changes, and like once they look good, you could basically merge the changes from staging to production. And it might be worth calling out something that's kind of neat in access control. You can actually lock the site down. So, and you can have like some like branches that are locked down. So if I just say like amplify and hello restricted, hello 1 2 3, and I click save. Let's see. So this would work right now. So
Oh, cool.
it's password controlled. Yeah. So you could have like new features. Yeah. So if I say amplify hello 1 2 3, there we go. So now I'm in. So you could have other branches that are not password controlled or are. But yeah, I don't know if I fully answered the question for backwards compatibility. I think I would kind of just use branches again.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, it looks like the domain's making progress, by the way.
No, there we go. You're giving the people they want, says the chat. No, I gotta agree. This has got to be one of the most.
I'll post it in the chat if we run out of time, but it looks like it might just need another minute or two. But
actually, feedback in the chat said that it was working for a couple of users.
They went to the site. Oh yeah, see that's the crazy thing about. I gotta go and yeah. Do you want to try it on your computer? I probably have my DNS all screwed up, but
yeah, try it on your phone. It says Focus Otter. Working for him, but probably cash for us. Everything they do with our baddie stuff.
Yeah. But yeah, I'm excited. Everyone thinks it's cool. I'd say if you want to try it out, you just need to go to the Amplify service and create an app. And we do have a free tier. I forget the details off the top of my head, but should be free for you to host your site.
Awesome.
Awesome.
Thank you so much, Matt. We are just about out of time, so I think
Okay, cool.
Mind blown.
This is a good pause point. Nothing broke yet.
Or we'll take it while we can.
Yeah.
We will take it.
Cut away.
Leave on the high note, you know?
Yeah,
Yes.
exactly.
Pencils
Well, thanks
up.
for having me.
Thank you so much for joining us. That was amazing.
Yeah,
The chat is popping off. Everybody is loving how interactive it was, so we really appreciate it.
Oh, that's
Thanks
cool.
for joining.
Okay, cool. See everyone later.
We'll see you.
All right, see you later.